What's going on, sport? I got a little mug I made out of walnut. I use a little bit of epoxy and vinyl. Stick around, I'll show you how to do it. And first things first, we need to choose our wood. In this case, I chose walnut. I've actually got quite a bit sitting around, so I want to make good use of it. Walnut is known for its rich, stunning colors, ranging from deep chocolate brown to rich purple. And walnut is one of my personal favorite woods. Let's go ahead and get it set up on the lathe and locked in. And let's start turning. And to get it started off, we just want to do a round over. Nothing serious, just some rough turning. The real time gets a little bit boring, so we're going to speed it up. Let's not waste your time or mine. One of my personal goals for this channel is to just get straight to the point. We just want to see the meat and potatoes and have fun. Round overs are one of the quickest ways to soften harsh lines and transitions in your wood turning project. Whether you're working on a wooden bowl, a tool handle, or even a beer mug, a gentle round over adds a beautiful flowing curve and instantly elevates the design. Square that end. We want to go ahead and square up one side so we can hollow out a foot. The foot of a turned object serves as the foundation, ensuring that the piece sits flat and stable when attaching to each other. The last thing we need is trying to turn this project and it starts moving around on us. For the bottom, we'll just do some light sanding. I go 80 grit all the way up to 150 grit. Now let's get the chuck set up and get the project locked in and ready to go. Cut out that pocket. Oh yeah. This is where we're going to use a Forstner bit. I go 1/2 inch all the way up to 4 inches. This process does take up some time, so just be patient. The accuracy of these Forstner bits does make up for the time lost. We always want to make sure we can squeeze as much ounces as possible in our beer mugs. Then we'll do a little bit of sanding, and then a little bit of sealing. I'll use multiple finish for the inside seal. I want to make sure that that fluid stays in there. Then up next is back on the shaping. We're not going to get too wild here, we just want to smoothen it out. Clean those cracks. This is where we're going to use a rotary tool. You want to get down inside the cracks and you want to get out all that dead wood. This is a fairly simple process, just use whatever tools as needed. I like to get out all the dead wood so that way I will fill it with epoxy and then it will showcase all the cracks. Make sure to get all those knots all cleaned up. And now it's epoxy time. Emerald green epoxy. Just take your time with this. Go ahead and push in all the epoxy into all the cracks and knots. With a rounded surface, it's tough to get in all the cracks. Normally I need to do 2 pours. And then next we'll go ahead and seal the inside with clear epoxy. And then we're back with some more sanding. I'll start climbing into the higher grits. On the inside of the mug, I usually go up to 150 grits. And now we can go ahead and start shaping out the rest of the mug. Let's go ahead and clear off all that epoxy. And one of the many pros of adding epoxy to your project is it can add extra durability to the wood, making it less prone to cracking or splitting. Up next is handle placement. This is going to give me a rough guideline on where I can put my handles. It helps to know exactly where you're going to put your handles. That way you can go ahead and start shaping out the rest of the mug. So I got my overall length of the mug made. Now it's time to drill out those holes. To drill out the hole, I just use a 3/4 inch countersink drill bit. Just take your time here and just be patient. A lot of time drilling it out won't get it all perfectly done, so you'll have to go in with some hand chisel. Wow. This is where you can be a little bit more accurate and more precise. Just make sure to take your time and don't rush the process. Now let's do a little test fit. Snug as a bug. Now that's what I call a perfect fit. That's what she said. Let's go ahead and start shaping out the rest of the mug. Now we can go ahead and go down to our final dimension. Now we're going to do some rough sanding. I go 80 grit all the way up to 220. This allows me to put on that vinyl. I purchased a Dungeons & Dragons SVG file off of Etsy. Dungeons & Dragons was originally created in 1974 by Gary Gygax and David Arnson as an offshoot of wargaming. It took the complex rules of tabletop wargames and added a fantasy role-playing element. Now it's time to seal in with epoxy. And here we're going to go ahead and seal in the outside as well as the inside of the mug. This process usually takes about 2 to 3 different pours. The extra pours will actually help strengthen the vinyl. It will not tear off or chip down the road. It usually takes about 24 to 48 hours for the epoxy to cure. Now we can go ahead and get it set up back on the lathe. And now we're on to our final sanding. And here I'll go ahead and go from 80 grit all the way up to 320 grit. This is the outside as well as the inside. And in some spots the epoxy isn't all the way level, so you'll need to do some additional sanding. I'd rather take the extra time and make sure it's perfect. And now we're on to the finish. This is actually the second part. I'm going to add some teak oil. The teak oil will get deep inside those grains, giving it that nicely aged look. You'll go ahead and rub it all in, and then you'll wipe it back off. And then I'll go ahead and prep the surface with a heat gun. I want to increase the temperatures, that way when I put on the lacquer spray-on finish, it bonds nicely. Up next, we'll go ahead and spray on our lacquer spray-on finish to get that high gloss shine. And you can see that high gloss shine already coming through. After I spray on my first coat, I'll use a heat gun to get the temperatures up, because this will help actually dry it a little bit faster. And then I'll just rinse and repeat until I get the shine I'm after. It usually takes about 3 to 4 coats. I like to use that spray-on lacquer mainly because it dries so much faster than other finishes. And then up next we'll use that butter wet wax. This is a traditional car wash buffing compound. Just go ahead and rub it in the entire surface. I do not rub it in on the inside though. And now that we've covered the entire surface, I'll go ahead and turn the lathe on. Let's get that bad boy spinning, and then we'll buff it back out. If you look at the light glare off the mug, and you can really see where that shine comes through. And look at that, gorgeous. Well, I'll be a blue-nosed gopher. Who'd have thought, a buffing compound used on wood turning? I actually use this product on all my wood turnings, if you believe that. What a shine! And now we can go ahead and glue in the handle. I use the same color of epoxy, the emerald green, to glue in the handle because I want everything to match. Just go ahead and push in the handle and expect a little squeeze out. But that's okay, because with all the extra finishes we did, the epoxy will actually wipe off real easy. Now to hold it into place, I'll just use a simple clamp. And once the handle is in position, just go ahead and tighten it down. Now it should be snug as a bug and shouldn't move around on you. Now you can go ahead and remove all the excess epoxy without any issue. Now it's time to add some mineral oil. This is the final step of the entire project. I like to use this food-grade mineral oil for the inside of the mug. I always let it soak in for about 24 hours. And there you have it, gorgeous. A custom Dungeons & Dragons Walnut epoxy beer mug. This is a big boy's mug. It holds a little over 25 ounces. This is for the real beer drinkers. Feel free to reach out to me if you want your own personalized mug. Have a good day.